How to start plumbing today. Something that, well, most of you probably didn't grow up thinking, I want to be a plumber when I grow up. Guess what? That was a bad decision. You can make so much money in plumbing and electrical, HVAC, roofing, so many trades. And today, I'm going to show you how you can get started right now. Guys, this video is brought to you by Plum Study. If you want to learn more about Plum Study and figuring out the different things about plumbing that you need to know before you ever apply for a job, click on the link down in the description and go to Plum Study. It's a little free course that I put together just to teach people about what different type plumbing opportunities are out there for them. Literally, all you got to do is get up, go walk into a plumbing company and apply for a job. Chances are, if you interview well, if you're dressed nice, you smell good, you talk politely, chances are you're going to get a job. You don't have to go to college to be a plumber. You don't have to go to trade school. You don't have to go to the union. You can literally walk out and apply for a company. Now, what type companies would you like to apply for? You've got to figure out what would be best for you. Start looking at the TV. Find out what companies are running commercials, what companies are growing, what companies are advertising to get more work. That's the kind of company that you want to go to work for. Those are normally the companies doing residential service. If they say, hey, if you got problems at your home, we'll come fix it. Guess what? That's residential service. Now, if you're wanting to do commercial, maybe drive downtown. Look at the big commercial jobs, see who the general contractor is, see if you can find out who the mechanical contractor is. Mechanical, MEP, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. That's going to tell you who the HVAC, electrical, and plumbing contractors are. And then you know what companies to go apply for there. Maybe they've even got an office on site that you can walk in and say, hey, how do I come to work for your company? It's not real hard to get a job, especially these days. If you'll dress nice, look professional, and walk in when you apply, look people in the eye and shake their hands, chances are you're going to get hired and you're going to make more money than just the average Joe walking in. But I want to take you back a little bit and make you think about some other things. First of all, do you know what kind of plumber you want to be? Do you want to do residential, commercial, or even industrial? Not sure? You need to check those out. Do you want to do service work or new construction? Need to check that out. And union or non-union? Now, there's goods and bads about both, but you've got to figure those out. We all want something different. So first of all, residential is building houses, building homes, building duplexes, maybe even some multifamily if you get into apartments. Commercial is the big office towers, big buildings you see driving through downtown, things like that. And then industrial, well, that's the big plants that manufacture things, Kraft Foods, Texas Instruments, places that I've worked here. So you look at that and figure out, what do you want to do? Then you've got to think, do you want to do new construction or do you want to do service work? And I love this part because I ask people, do you like to fix things or do you like to build things? If you like to build things, new construction's probably for you. If you've got that analytic mind and you love to repair things, guess what? Service work could be amazing because you come in and you know they got a problem and you've got to figure out what it is and how to fix it. I love that part. And then there's union and non-union. Union, man, that's mainly the bigger commercial jobs. Non-union, mainly construction, residential service, stuff like that. Although some unions do cross those boundaries. But there's good things about the union, there's bad things about the union. You've got to figure out what's right for you. Now, to get your license right here in Texas, here's what I'm going to tell you. It starts out by being a registered apprentice. Go to the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners website, click on the form to be the apprentice, read everything that it's got there, and it will teach you everything that you need to do to become a plumber. So you go apply for a company. They tell you, yes, we want to hire you. Then you get online, you fill out the paperwork, you get registered as an apprentice. And you want to do this no matter what company you work for, because this is how your hours are documented, how they're tracked. So you do this and you start getting credit for your hours. And that's what you need to go past your tradesman, your journeyman, and your master's exam later. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So you get registered as an apprentice. Then after a short time, you can become a registered drain cleaner, a registered utility installer. You can do things that most apprentices can't do. And the good thing is, when you can do things like that for some companies, they will pay you more money. Any registration you can get, anything you can do to show, look, I've learned, I've grown, I've got a registration, I've got an endorsement, whatever it is. This is going to be good for you. So what I want you to think about is getting your apprentice card, then getting any endorsements you can. Then after 2 years, 4,000 hours, you can go take the exam as a tradesman. Now, a tradesman is really good in Texas because we've got a lot of residential companies that work on single family and 2-family dwellings, a house and a duplex. If you've got your tradesman license, I can send you out almost like a journeyman. You can do anything in those houses that a journeyman plumber could do. Now, if it's anything bigger than that, I've got to have a journeyman on the job because really, at that point, you go back to being an apprentice. Anything over single family and 2-family dwellings. Remember that. So after 4,000, you get your tradesman. After 8,000, you can go get your journeyman license. And what this does, this lets you work on any house, any building, anything in Texas. Now, trust me, don't work on things that you're not sure about. Just because you've got a license doesn't mean you're good at it. So we've talked about the apprentice registration. We've talked about the tradesman, then the journeyman. Next is the masters. Now, if you've gone through a Department of Labor training program or a technical college, anything at all like that, anything recognized by the DOL, the Department of Labor, you can get your master's license in 1 year after your journeyman. Now, if you didn't go through a DOL training program or DOL approved training program, you've got to wait 4 more years to get your master's. But think about it. There's nothing wrong with that. From the time you get in, it takes you 8 years to get your master's license. Then with your RMP endorsement, you can literally start your own company. Now, that's how easy it is to get in and get started right now today. So let me tell you about some skills that you really need that, well, not really skills, and any of these you can do. You've got to be willing to get dirty, whether it's digging a hole, whether it's being out on a job site. It's not the cleanest job in the world. Don't get me wrong. We don't get filthy dirty every day. And no, you don't have to touch poop every single day of the rest of your life. Sometimes some plumbers never touch poop. Now, there are really no other skills required. You've got to be able to show up, work hard, be on time, have a positive attitude, and be coachable, be willing to learn. There's nothing else really required. You come in with that attitude each and every day, you'll do great. Now, a couple of things to remember are keep track of your hours, keep track of your pay stubs. Know how many hours you work every week. That way you document and you know when you're getting close to your 4,000 or 8,000 hours. Okay, so we've talked about your different options. There's open shop, there's trade school, there's the union. Those are great. Me, well, I was working with a friend of mine in a hamburger restaurant, and he told me about his father and 3 older brothers that were plumbers, and they loved what they did. I ended up calling one of them and said, hey, can you help me get a job? And he did. Now, that's an easy way to get a job. Do you know anybody who's a plumber? If you do, number one, ask them, what do you think about it? Do you like it? And oh, by the way, you know me. Do you think this is something I could be good at? If the answer is yes, man, that may be your best way in. Now, the big tip, if you go through an interview process, one thing you want to ask them is, how do you train your plumbers? How do you train me to make me a better plumber? Because I want to be a great plumber. And find out if they're part of a best practice group. If they are, they believe in training and they do it all the time. And all you have to do is ask. If they tell you yes, ask which best practice group. And if they ask you then, why do you want to know? Say, man, I just want to find out more about them. I want to see how I become a great plumber. And I love that I've had the opportunity to talk to you about it. And maybe I can be one for you. You talk like that, chances are you're going to get the job. Guys, if you enjoyed this, go to Plum Study, check it out, click on the videos, watch them, and you can figure out more about what kind of plumber you may want to be. I promise you, getting in the right position may make all the difference in the world to you. I hope you love this video. If you did, chances are you're going to love this one too.